if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you about it. It's free, which is amazing. And there are these really cool creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it's easy to be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts. And you get to make money with no minimum listenership, which is really cool. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started right away.
Yoga teachers, mindfulness leaders, and energy workers, are you ready to stop side hustling and start making an income doing what you love? Welcome to the Marketing Off the Mat podcast. Each week, your host, Jessica Cross, dives into conversations with successful creatives in wellness, business, marketing, and more to uncover practical methods to take your business from A to B and have some fun along the way. Grab some tea and pull up a seat. Let's dive into this episode.
Welcome back to Marketing Off the Mat. It's Jess, and I'm so glad that you're here. So today we're talking about something a little different. And I think I hear a lot of consultants or folks that are mentoring teachers out there talking about their yoga studios and why they have a yoga studio or why they had one. And I thought it'd be interesting to talk a little bit about why I didn't open a yoga studio and why, and how you can build a business to fit your life. So, all right. So yoga studio ownership. It's the dream of so many teachers, and it really was mine for a time. So why didn't I open one? Why am I glad about it? I'm so excited to share that with you today. So this is around the 2017 timeframe. I'd been out of teacher training, around a year or so, and I attempted to open a yoga studio in a few different ways. I was looking at building my own brand, building a small boutique yoga studio. I looked at buying an existing yoga studio and even a franchise. And after trying and crunching the numbers, looking at SBA loans getting approved, looking at floor plans, talking to construction and different real estate developers, like trying to make this thing happen, I ended up abandoning the idea that I would own a yoga business as a studio. So yoga studio was not in the works for me. And I didn't know it at the time, because as that decision had been made, it was actually, I kind of felt a lot of loss. Like I thought, this is the only way that I'm ever going to make this a thing, quote unquote. And I was, feeling really, really down on myself. But at the time, I wish I'd known that it was actually the best thing that I actually could have done for myself and my business. And so why is that? The yoga studio ownership model is a wonderful one, and I absolutely love studios. I teach at one. I'm friends with studio owners, and I, know the ins and outs. But yoga studio ownership isn't aligned with how I want to live my life or run my business. And I didn't know that in those exact terms that I just described, but there was some sort of inkling in the back of my mind saying, do I really want a 7-day-a-week business? As I was moving from a, minimum 50-hour-a-week corporate job, was that something that I really wanted to be a part of? Did I really want to be the person when the toilet's clogged that people are calling me? Do I, really want to be at the front desk at 6:15 for the 6:30 a.m. classes, 5 days a week? Do I really want to be on call, always the one who's subbing when people can't, step up and sub if that's needed? Or obviously all the customer service that comes with owning a studio. I'm really, really glad that didn't end up working out for me. And I wish that, I had known a little bit more about myself in these terms, like clear terms that I'm describing to you right now. And while I don't regret any of that process, because I think it has informed my understanding of, just how difficult it is to own a yoga studio and how thankless it can be at times, and also how beautiful it can be at times. If I had known that a little bit sooner, who knows where I would have been as far as like where my business could be. So if I'd known a little bit sooner that yoga studio ownership didn't align with my vision, I might have saved myself a little bit of heartache, as well as some of those lessons. So, of course, everything like this, I think, happens for a reason. So we take lessons and we take learnings with us. So if I had known in really specific terms, like how I wanted my business to fit my life, I, might have made some different choices. And I'm so glad that didn't end up working out, because I got more clear over the years, building Sound for Stress and my other previous businesses, in addition to this podcast and, my consulting businesses. I learned so much about myself and what I like and what I enjoy. And in contrast to what yoga studio ownership would have looked like for me, I know it is completely different. So today I wanted to share a few tips on how to build a business that fits your life. And, if you're going through this process, maybe you've, just exited your first teacher training, or you're looking to pivot into another version of your business, another season of your business, this could be a really helpful exercise that I wish I had when I was going through, the previous phases of my businesses. So I thought I would share it with you today. So if you're driving, you can do this later. If you're near a pen and paper and maybe a cup of tea, this is a short little exercise that you might do to help get clear on how you want your business to fit your life in this season. And I want to be really clear, because our lives meander as we move on the path. Our needs are going to change. It may be very soon, it may be in a decade, we don't know, but we want to look at it from this season. Like what is the business that you want to build right now, or how do you want to mold and shift your existing business into something that supports you today? So, all right, if you have your pen and paper, or if you're driving and you're just listening along, let's dive into these. So I'd love for you to take some time to write down what excites you the most about this phase in entrepreneurship. Is it the idea of, problem solving and figuring out how to solve an issue for your student base, or how to put together a brand, or create a product, or figure out corporate one-to-one yoga, figure out corporate group yoga? What are the things that you're so excited to figure out? Write those things down. It might be several things, and don't edit yourself. Just continue to write these things down, and check out your list. And then when you're ready, you can move on to the next question. So what kind of environment do you thrive in? What kind of environment makes you thrive? So if it's, the one-to-one in-person environment, do you like to be in a group setting? Do you like to be behind the scenes? Are you, more of a we'll use introvert because that's such a widely known term, but do you like to be, kind of working off to the side? Maybe you poke your head out every now and then, and you have a few classes perhaps, but you're more behind the scenes, and more behind your screen. Is that your jam? Do you thrive there? Figure out what type of environments that you thrive in. And if you're not exactly sure, you might even distill it down just a little bit further. Do you like teaching in-person classes? Do you prefer to teach Zoom yoga? Do you want to build a evergreen course and market? And that's where you spend a lot of your time. Figure out what kind of environment you thrive in. And then for the third point, so the next question, number 3, how do you recharge? How do you recharge your batteries? Is it in community? Being in community, having, conversations over tea after class? Or is it, connecting in a monthly setting with yogis from all over the world, where, you might not be physically connected, but you're actually connecting with sources of light all over the globe on a similar subject, with connected hearts? Like, is that something that helps you feel recharged? Is it being able to step away at any point and not worry about needing to unclog the toilet or who's at the front desk? Do you recharge when you get to be out in nature, or just taking some time whenever you decide to disconnect? How do you recharge? So once you get clear on that, we can move on to number 4 and our final question. how does this idea or these ideas align with your current life? How do these ideas align with your current life? Maybe circle things. These things could actually fit in with your current life. So maybe if you look at your previous questions, what excites you the most? How does that align with your current life? What kind of environment do you thrive in? How does that align with your current life? Is this the environment that you're in right now, or is this an environment that you seek to be in? And how do you recharge? Is this aligned? So look for those 3 questions, look for the trends there, maybe circle them, and you might start a new little section or create a little circle in the bottom corner of your page and, write the thing that excites you together, write the kind of environment in which you thrive, and then how you recharge, maybe create a little bubble of these 3 things and see what type of business would align with these 3 points. Is it building a retreat business? Is it starting a podcast? Is it, doing Zoom yoga? Is it building a studio? What are those things that could align with these 3 attributes that you've just created, or you've just clarified rather, on paper? See what pops up. I love to try this exercise on at different times of the year, or as I'm thinking of, new ideas, I'm getting inspired about something that, has kind of popped up and maybe something I want to try. And I look at this, this idea through this lens and see, how are these business models kind of fitting the reality of the way that I move through the world, or how I want to move through the world. So you could look at it for a yoga studio, as we talked about. If you're looking to become a digital nomad and you want to, live in India for 3 months and then travel to Canada, or spend some time in Mexico, or, different part of the US, like, how does this align with how you move through the world? I think you're going to find a lot here, like spending some time, just really spending the time, as I just said, as writing these things down and getting clear on how it is that you move through the world. And I think it kind of helps remove the noise and maybe some of the glamour of, thinking these, owning a yoga studio is the only way, or having an online membership is the only way, because there's so many different ways and different layers that you can bring in. It might be pieces and parts of these things that build your unique business and serve in a way where you feel excited that, even though at the end of the day, it's still going to be work, a year from now, 5 years from now, it's still going to be work. Like, what are the things that are going to excite you? What are the things that are going to align with your life and how you actually recharge and recenter so you can continue to teach? That's the kind of business that I want you to build. And it's not because, studio ownership isn't for anybody, or that's an outdated model. Absolutely not. There's a lot of independent and large yoga studio businesses that are doing incredible. So maybe that's for you. But now, like, as you're starting to consider these things, I would love it if you did this exercise and then sent me a DM. I would love to know what you uncovered. Was it helpful? Did something surprise you? Or maybe was it exactly aligned with the direction that you're headed? So I'd love to know more. You can send me a DM on Instagram. It's at jessicacross.co. Tell me what you uncovered. I'm so curious. But anyway, I hope that this episode served you, and I hope that it kind of, opens your eyes and maybe takes a little peek around the curtain about how people build businesses in current phase that they're in, and then maybe how this could inform, future seasons and phases of your life and in your business, because we want you teaching for a really long time. We want you feeling supported and recharged and rejuvenated so that you can serve the people out there who need you to show up. So thanks again for showing up today. I hope that this episode supported you, and I can't wait to hear what you uncover. Catch you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Off the Mat podcast, and give yourself some gratitude for taking action in your wellness business journey. Please share this episode with someone you know who could use a fresh dose of inspiration. And we'd be thrilled if you would rate, review, and subscribe to Marketing Off the Mat on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Want to share an idea with Jessica? DM her at jessicacross.co on Instagram to continue the conversation, or find out how she can help you take the next right step in your business. Until next time, stay inspired and keep showing up.